my why has always been my kids. That has always been my kids. I'm a huge family guy. So the thing that I've always told myself since I was before middle school was everything that I do now will dictate how my kids live later. I want that financial freedom and not have to be stressing about it. And not only that, but I want to be able to be in a position that I can help others as well.
Welcome, man. Thanks for taking a couple minutes with me today.
Of course.
Yeah, every time I see you, you just make me want to smile.
There you go. I think that's the best way to be.
That's mission accomplished.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Hey, first of all, I was watching the video you filmed with Joshua earlier today, and there's so many cool little golden nuggets in there already, and hopefully we can link that video to this one so people can go back and watch that, because that was a couple months ago, and I'm sure maybe, I'm hoping some stuff has changed for the better. I'd love to kind of get an update, but you said something in that video that I just wanted to start out with, because I think everybody's like origin stories are so fascinating, and our society is changing so much, and there's so many opinions and so many ways and pushes and pulls and ways for people to make so much money. And you said something in there that I thought was fascinating. So tell me about your starts. Tell me about why you're here.
Yeah, so I'll be completely honest with you. So I actually got into real estate from an Instagram video. And believe it or not, it was not yours.
Okay.
I saw this video, and it was about 2 years ago. Thought it was interesting, but I was still in college at the time, so I was like, I'll push it off till after.
Yeah.
And my buddy sent me the same video a year later. And so I just decided to hop into it, started learning, diving deep. I found 2 other companies that do what you guys do. And then Brian Peterson showed up on my screen. There was a meetup right around the corner, about 10 minutes from where I was at the time. And then from there, that's where everything just kickstarted from there. Yeah.
So, wow, in college. Okay, so I've got a college. My oldest is in college, and I started when I was in college. My investing career, my journey, my entrepreneurial journey started when I was in college. So I love that already.
Yeah.
Why? Like, what was it? Like, you paid so much money to go, I'm guessing, right? Like, the cost of going to college today is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And so you're in college and you're like, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I always wanted to work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to work for anybody. I don't mind working with people and partnering, right? I think that's completely different. But to work for somebody, I was never something that I really wanted to do. And so once I started to learn about, tax liens, tax deeds, and then just real estate investing, I started to show up to my job, and I started thinking about it more as a businessman instead of an employee. And I was thinking to myself, I'm working this hard to make somebody else this much more money. And so for me, I was like, I need to just start doing it. I need to change the trajectory of my family. And so that's what's been pushing me to keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so you said something similar in that video, and I thought it was like, I clued into it because I think it's such an important caveat. You said the trajectory of my family.
Yeah.
What was the trajectory of your family?
Yeah, so my parents were always looked at as the best in terms of how they were doing. My dad was military for 23 years. And so my mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And so to the rest of my family, to my extended family, it seemed like we were just the best, hands down. Everybody else was, they all live in California. It's a lot, rougher over there, and prices, things like that. So nobody made it out of college. Nobody was really pushing to go somewhere else. And so I needed to just switch that whole mentality. And so it's actually been to the point now where you've actually met my dad. And so he is now getting into it. And I've been able to take him to some of the conferences that we have. And so just getting to teach my parents now is life-changing already. And it's before success.
What did that feel like? What did that feel like to say, Dad, come with me, I'm going to change your life?
It was emotional, honestly. It was emotional. But I remember, I'm here in Orlando and you guys were coming to Orlando and it was for the expo. And I know that the expo is a really good one for him to start at. And so I told him, I just called him up and I said, hey, I don't know what you're doing this date to this date, but you need to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take you to this place. Don't worry about it. Everything's good. Like, you just need to show up. And he said, okay. And so after that, the whole weekend we were just talking about every single day what he learned, what I've learned, and for him it was like a huge eye opener for him, and so much so that I think in September I believe is the commercial in Vegas, and he's like, we got to go. Yeah. I said, okay, we'll figure out a way to make it happen. But now he's learning, and now my mom is starting to get into it. So I think soon you'll probably meet her at some point. Yeah, for sure. And possibly my brothers. I don't know. So I'm just trying to get the whole family, onto something better that is going to catapult them as well.
I love that. It's, so many people ask, like, why do you exist? Like, why, if you're, like, I hear this all the time, if you're such a successful investor, why are you teaching on other people? I'm like, well, geez, Adam Levine was on The Voice forever, teaching people how to sing. Right. Like, we have coaches in the NBA that come back, and like Steve Kerr had an incredible career, made so much money, and yet he came back and he was a coach. He's an incredible coach in the NBA. So, like, why would it be any different for me? Like, I love what we do and I love investing and we make a ton of money investing, but being able to teach somebody else how to do and have the experience that we're having and having success like you are, it's what drives me and what drives Tax and Code. But having you have that experience, like, just, it makes me even more excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I always tell people it's more of think of a corn maze and think of two people starting at the same time. And one person has a path and the other person is just staring at just the corn. And it's like they're going to go at the same time. And your objective is to get to the other side. But, if there's a path, most likely there's going to be somebody coming down to help you along, right? But if you're just going through the corn maze yourself and, there's no cutouts, no nothing, then, who knows how long it's going to take you. And so that's how I've been telling people, because now I actually am at a point where I can teach people a little bit more about these things, right? And I actually just had a call 2 days ago, I believe, where this gentleman called me. We spent about an hour and a half on the phone, and he was just asking question after question about real estate. And just being able to teach other people, that's also a huge step from where I started with TLC. Yeah.
Well, what has it made? What's it done to your relationship with your parents and maybe your brother, to have them involved? Maybe at the beginning, just on a small level, right? But what's it done to your relationship with them?
We've always been super close. Just because of the military, we've always been away from our extended family. But I think our bond has grown even closer. And I would say because, you know how it is, there's a big investment that, you do have to invest into yourself. And I'm a college kid, right? At the time, I was just a college kid. And so finding that, I didn't go to mom and dad. I just did it. And I just told them, hey, I'm going to do this, whether you agree or you don't. I need to take this step. And ever since then, they've just supported all the way. Even if it was times where, man, like financially, it was like, it's cutting it close. They said, you know what, we'll figure it out. We'll help you in any way that we can. And so they've been just supplying that constant like reassurance and that confidence that, hey, we got your back. And so that is, that's the best thing I could have asked for, honestly. Yeah.
What challenges does that bring? I want to talk about the benefits of having somebody in your corner and pushing. Right. Because not everybody has it though, right? But what challenges does it bring having, you're brand new. Like it's not a family business. It's not like you didn't have family or friends or whatever in it. And you're independent. You like, I love that idea. You kind of burn the boats. You're like, hey, mom, dad, I'm doing this whether you agree or not. I don't really care. Like this college education I just got, like I might be throwing it away.
I have that written in my office. Just burn the boats.
Burn the boats.
That's it. That's what started it all.
What pressure does that add to you?
Oh, a lot, a lot. Because, like I said, there's nobody in my family that is doing anything like this, and there's nobody that is taking those huge leaps of faith.
Yeah,
and so it is a lot of pressure. I tried not to put as little pressure on myself as I can, but financially it has been a burden. That would probably be the biggest thing, because at some point, again, college kid, you go back and you're like, man, I really don't want to ask for this. I don't want to ask for that. I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to, not necessarily because I don't have the help, but I really want to try to do this myself. Mm-hmm. I don't want to struggle. I want to feel that pain, because I think once I'm in a position like yourself, I can look back, and when my employees or my students are going through it, I can tell them, yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I've run through the dirt and it sucked. And it sucked. But there's a model, there's a system that you can follow, and now we're here. Right.
That pressure is interesting. My oldest son plays baseball.
Yeah.
And he had a coach when he was probably right at the beginning of high school. And I've seen it all over Instagram. So he wasn't the one that created it. I don't know where it came from. But he used to say pressure is a privilege.
Love it.
And I've got it written on my wall over here, because and his point was that pressure, you've earned that pressure. If you have pressure, it means you're in a position to excel. Like living in Kansas City the last couple of years has been great. I don't know if you're a football fan, but the Chiefs, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And, in the Super Bowl, obviously didn't go our way this year. It did, last couple of years. But the fact that you're in the Super Bowl and you've got it, not this year, but imagine driving down fourth quarter, game on the line, you feel all the pressure. It means you've earned the right to be there. And it means that you've excelled and you put yourself in a place to win. The teams watching the Super Bowl from their couch off season, there's no pressure.
Right.
There's none. There's no pressure. Patrick Mahomes, they have all the pressure in the world because they've earned that responsibility or earned that right to be there. So if you're feeling pressure, it's a privilege. And I just love that. And so right now you have pressure, and that should be the biggest blessing you have in your life, because
1,000,000%.
It means you've got something.
Yeah. And I was an athlete my whole life as well. And there's been times, we're in championship games, we're in certain, situations that, you're absolutely, I love the way you said that.
How did being an athlete prepare you for investing?
It actually helped a lot. I think pressure is like that, just minimizing it and just blocking it out was a massive thing for me. But also the competitive nature in myself. And I have two brothers. And so growing up, I'm sure you already know, growing up, it was the survival of the fittest every single day. So just that competitive nature in me, I think that has, it's you don't want to lose. You know what I mean? You really don't want to lose. And so, doing everything that you can, staying up late, waking up early, doing all the things, right? Meetings and things like that, even when you don't want to. That's just that competitive fire that's been driving it.
You're how old are you right now?
I turned 23. I'm turning 24 this year, so I'm 23.
It's funny because let's see, when did I start? I was probably 23 when I started too. You're gonna see people and that experience you're gonna have of people say, well, it's not fair, or you got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Right, when you're 45, which I turn 45 next month, and you're gonna get people well, it was a good time for you to invest, or you got lucky, or all of those things. And so I want you to remember what you're going through right now. And because what's the biggest obstacle or hurdle or problem you have in your business right now?
I think right now it is scaling. I think I'm in that point where I'm like, I just need to do more. I need to, get more going.
Yeah.
That would probably be it.
Do you feel like it's a struggle right now?
1,000,000% every day.
It wasn't even a pause there.
Oh, no. Every day I think is a new challenge.
Yeah.
And for me, what I started doing is I started wholesaling. And so now it's making the calls, talking to title, talking to attorneys, making sure all of these things are happening. And it adds pressure every single day, And so it's one of those things that you kind of have to win each day.
Yeah.
And you win each day, it's going to happen. And so I'll tell you this, for the last, this past week, I had 4 contracts in 4 days.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty solid for, and it's just from that, doing it every single day. And it sucks every day, but it's also great every single day too,
Yeah.
So there's ups and downs all the time. Yeah.
So let's stay there for just a second. You said, this is going up on my wall right now too. You said win each day. What does that mean to you? What does it mean for you to win each day?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely things, there's bad days, there's good days, but I think ultimately, take it going back to the Super Bowl. You lose the Super Bowl doesn't mean that you had a bad season. Didn't mean you had a bad game even, right? But, you win every day to put yourself in a position to be at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so it's not a failure. I think even in those bad days, those bad games, failure's a thing. Doesn't mean, you know what I mean? And so that's what I mean every single day. Kind of like, you have to win the majority of the days. And if you have a bad day, you still got to win that day.
I'm going to guess that you define failure different than most people.
I would think so.
What would you define as a failure then?
I don't really know about failure anymore. I just know about lessons.
See, that's what I mean. That's what, like, your definition of failure is not what you and I have this very similar definition of failure.
Okay.
Failure is giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Failure is when you say, I'm done. Like, I tap out. That's quitting. That's failure. What you're talking about is a lesson. I don't think I've ever heard that articulated that well. That what most people call a failure is just a lesson.
Yes. I think that's what got me to make that final jump into TLC. Like I said, I had that motto of burn the boats, right? And I told myself, okay, well, if I take this leap of faith, even if it goes down to where I go bankrupt, right? And it gets that bad. Well, when I situate myself again, I'm going to know so much more. And I would have met so many more people than I did, 6 months before that, a year before that. Does that make sense?
100%.
So, yeah. So that was my thing was, okay, well, if I fail, if I lose in this, then I'm going to be so much better when I start up again. Right. And so I think quitting was never that option.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things that, you kind of have to be open to failing at the same time. And that's hence why I'd say I want to run through the dirt as well. So I can tell people, yeah.
It's so funny. Often I wish that I could go back and talk to my 23-year-old self. And so I feel like I'm peering into my own mirror. But what happened, you alluded to it at the beginning, that you watched some other persons, and I won't ask you who it was because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus because it doesn't really matter. But you got some YouTube videos or reels sent to you, and you went to somebody else. You saw some other people's trainings, and then you decided to jump in with us, which I appreciate the trust. I appreciate all that kind of stuff. What made you decide at that point?
Okay, so one of the other companies had sent me, I think it was a couple of videos to look at, basically going in depth into tax liens, tax deeds, all that stuff. And they sent it to me online. They said, here you go, do it, and then pay X amount.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. And the fact that tax lien code was going to be 10 minutes away from where I was living at the time, I was like, I'm just going to go see. At least I can talk to somebody in person. And that was honestly the biggest thing, was just that accessibility. And so right there, I told my cousin, hey, I'm going to this thing. It's a free event. You got to come with me. He said, okay. So he came straight from work. He met me. He's 5 minutes before we went into the ballroom. He says, what are we doing here? What's going on? I said, okay, here's what a tax deed is. Here's what a tax lien is. This is basically what we're going to go over. And so in 5 minutes, I told him, okay, this is the basis of where everything's at. And then we hopped in, and then we started talking to more people. We started asking questions. So again, that accessibility is ultimately what got me to get to the next one, and from there, get to the next one, and the next one.
Maybe I'm going to get myself into trouble for asking this question. What happened to your cousin?
So he's still doing it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so him and I, we went to every single conference.
All right.
Yeah, we went to every single conference, but he's also a hygienist, so he's also balancing that, and then he's got a wedding coming up, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that he's having to juggle. So
sure,
but yeah, he did it along with me. Yeah.
So once you came to the conferences, what did the beginning look like? I think that's a fear that a lot of people have, right? Is what is the journey going to look like?
It's not easy. I'll say that. It's not easy. I mean, especially I would say most people may or may not be in that similar situation where you kind of don't know how it's going to go financially or anything else. So it's tough, but I think it's one of those things that you really have to grind it out. And again, you have to win every day. And if you keep doing it, you stack up your wins. I think it will pay off for sure. I think it will pay off. But again, it's not an easy task. I think once you kind of hop out of that, you kind of wonder, okay, what do I want to do? And I figured, when I was going through all the conferences, each one taught me something different, but each one I left feeling like, I want to do that. No, actually, I want to do this. No. Actually, scrap the other ones. This one's the best one. And that's how I felt every single time. So finding one, now that knowledge from all the other ones, but finding one that you can really key in on and dive into so that you can get to that next one. And it makes more sense. Okay, now does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, it's a tough process. It's not easy. It's not as easy sometimes as it seems, but I think you got to do it for yourself, right? You got to have your why, and that's got to push you through.
Okay, so you keep layering on all these things I want to come back to.
Yeah.
What is your why?
My why, I'm 23. I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. My why has always been my kids. That has always been my kids. I'm a huge family guy. Yeah. So the thing that I've always told myself since I was before middle school was everything that I do now will dictate how my kids live later.
You're like the most mature 23-year-old I've ever met in my life. Okay, so since middle school, you were planning for how to raise your kids. What was it about your family that made you that mentality? Just not too many middle school kids are looking at, I want to raise my kids in a certain way. What got you to that point?
I give it all credit to my parents. My parents did a phenomenal job. Again, we grew up away from my family, and my dad, when he was on deployments, my mom held it down at the house.
Yeah.
With 3 little boys. So us being that close, and myself, I saw how my parents interacted with each other around us, at least, and they always gave us the best thing that they possibly could. And now that I'm older, I can have those conversations where my parents weren't doing as great as we thought they were.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was also an inspiration. Okay, well, I didn't know my parents were struggling this much. To us as kids, we just knew fun. We just wanted to play, and we didn't have that care in the world. And so I've always thought, that's what I want. I want my kids to just be carefree, just grow up, just play, enjoy yourself, love those childhood years. And dad's going to take care of the rest, right? Mom and dad are going to take care of the rest.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was always that thing that I loved how they did it. And so that's what I wanted to replicate.
Your future kids are lucky that hope and that dream, so incredible. And to any 23, 24, 20-year-old girl watching this, you better be careful, Joel, because your Instagram or your Snap or whatever you got is going to start blowing up because like you seem like a dream catch. Where are you right now? Like I know when we met in Orlando a couple months ago, one of the things we do at a lot of our camps is, we take your name tag and you've got your ribbon and you had like so many little pens to designate the tax liens and the deeds and all the things that you've done. And lest from your conversation people think that you haven't made any money or you haven't done anything yet, because you've done some incredible things already.
Yeah, still I'm 13, 15 tax liens.
Okay.
Say about 8 or 9 of them have redeemed. A few of them are right on that line of filing for TDAs and things like that. So that's exciting. But I started wholesaling. I wholesale now, and like I said, now I'm at the point I contracted 4 in just the same amount of days, and that's where I'm at now.
Have you finished a wholesale transaction already? Start to finish?
Yes.
Yeah. How many have you finished?
I think I'm at 4 or 5.
4
or 5.
4 or 5. So I love it when you're like, God, I got to count. I've done so many. Right. It's great. So what, take me through the first one that you did. The first one, like everybody remembers the first one, I feel like.
Yeah, the first wholesale, I actually did it with a partner.
Okay.
And it was one of those, I don't mind, splitting profits so that I could learn the whole process and see it through. And that one, I ended up taking $5K.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was, and it was awesome. Just that feeling, that rush.
Yeah.
This works. Let's do it again and again and again and again.
So up until that point, what was the biggest check you'd ever earned?
Probably at work. I don't know, maybe $2,000.
Okay.
In the span of like, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
So what did it feel like to get a check? The biggest check you'd ever gotten was your first transaction. What did that feel like?
I want to do this a lot. I want to do this a lot more and more consistently.
Yeah.
And that was like, I need to figure out how I can start stacking this up and start contracting a lot more. And what do I need to do? And what systems do I need to use? And who do I need to talk to? And so now I've been getting myself into groups and talking to other CEOs and entrepreneurs and things like that, just so I can, just learn as much. Yeah.
What was the experience like on the second one? So the first one probably gave you a ton of confidence. Mm-hmm. Right? Like,
yeah.
Put you in the room, right? You're like, okay, I am one. I'm an investor now. I've actually made money investing. And right. that confidence is so powerful.
Yeah, I think on that second one, it was very similar. I think each one almost feels like you're opening up gifts on Christmas or something like that. I don't know. It's like each one, you're just like that childhood, that kid mentality, right? You're just super excited for it. Each one gives me that feeling, and each one is like, okay, again, I need to keep doing it. I need to do it again. I need to do it again. Like, this is a big win. Enjoy it. Do it again and again and again and again, right? And so now, even with this was 4 and 4 days, and I'm at 5 and 7 days now. So that is like, even that's a big win just to get it contracted, right? It's halfway done.
Yeah.
But yeah, each one is like, oof.
A big win.
Let's go. Let's spin.
What did your dad feel? Like when you called him up and you did the first one, maybe the experience happened when you told him you'd contracted it or when you sold it and got the check. What was your dad's reaction?
I'll say I'll say initially, let me preface this by saying, when I first told my parents, hey, I'm just hopping in and I'm doing this, and they said, no, we don't think you should. And they were against it. And it was even to the point where I was like, okay, I need to stop doing school so I can do this full time. And they said, big no. No. And the more I talked to them, they started like getting more and more comfortable. So now by the time I was able to like do more deals, they were like, oh, like this actually does work.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. And that's when they got even more supportive. And they're like, you've proven to us, like, and you didn't have to prove anything to us, but you just proved that the model works. And so he was, super excited for me. And now when I called my parents every single day. And so now when I tell them, hey, I'm at 5 and 7 days, they're like, they celebrate even those, even the small wins, they celebrate it like it's, but yeah, he was super excited. My mom, same thing. But at first they were like, they were on the fence about it.
Did you finish college?
No. I met a guy named Brian Peterson, and he said that college wasn't.
Wow. So I never did either. We're gonna get some shirts made up, Joel. They say TLC college dropout. I hope your parents don't absolutely hate me.
No, I mean. See, that was the thing, is they told me, hey, why don't you just put this on the back burner until you finish school, and once you finish school, just come pick it back up.
Yeah.
And I didn't disclose how much I had invested into myself.
Yeah.
I didn't tell them. And even to this day, I think my dad now knows, but my mom never. Don't put this on anything.
Don't say anything out loud then, Joel. Yeah.
But I never disclosed to them the amount. And so he was always like, hey, just put it on the back burner. I was like, I can't. I can't. I really can't.
Yeah.
And so I told him, hey, listen, college is also going to be there when I'm done.
Yeah.
Right. And if I decide I want to go back, that's still going to be there. But this can't take the back seat. I'm way too far in.
Yeah.
I need to burn those bridges and burn those boats, and I need to go.
Man, it's interesting because, I felt the same way. Once I saw my trajectory, and college is so proven, especially now, we know where college is going to take us. Like you graduate with a college degree, whatever you were studying, and I know what that looks like. There's been hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, that do it year after year after year. Like I know if I graduate college and this is my trajectory in this line of work, so many people graduate the same university with the same degree, the same GPA, whatever, you know what you're going to end up with on a career path. And so you looked at that and said, okay, that trajectory is here, but the trajectory with investing and tax liens and wholesaling is above that, is what you believe.
Yeah, I think what made my dad a little bit more hesitant on agreeing to do all of this was I had an offer. I was doing IT. I was studying computer science and cybersecurity. And I had an offer at a 6-figure mark getting out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I can make more than that, not working for somebody else. So let me go try to get it. Let me go touch that dream, And
Do you regret it?
No, but I feel like I'm going to get gray hairs soon.
Well, you will. Yeah. Yeah, you will.
Yeah. No, I don't regret it at all. I don't regret it. Again, I think, if it were to fall through, I know a lot more, and I know a lot more people now. I mean, my network is pretty good for where I was at originally. And so just having that ability to call anybody up and say, hey, I need help with this. Like, what would you do in this situation? Yeah, I don't regret that at all.
Where do you see yourself a year from now?
Oh, where do I see myself a year from now? I think in a year, I'll be a lot more financially stable. I think I will be actually running a full wholesaling company. I think so. I think right now with everything that's been coming in, I think this year is already on track to be way ahead of where I thought it was going to be. So I think by next year I can start actually putting in better systems and getting more people involved. So I think that's probably the next step. Yeah.
So where do you want it to take you? Like you mentioned your kids and being able to play and have with them and have them have an incredible childhood. I think one of the things that, man, I'm glad you had that vision from day one. Everybody thinks it's about the cars and the vacations and the good food, and like I love all of those things. I love driving a nice car. I love going on nice vacations, and I love all those things. But you've already realized that that's not really what it is about.
You know, if I can take care of my kids, I can take care of my parents, my spouse, and my grandbabies and their grandbabies, right? And just build that generational wealth. I think that's where I want it to take me. I want that financial freedom and not have to be stressing about it. And not only that, but I want to be able to be in a position that I can help others as well. That's where I would love for it to take me.
That's all incredible. You know, your journey inside of TaxLink Code's been so fun to watch, and it's incredible seeing so many people accomplishing so many different things. You know, talking to some people that they're only buying tax liens, and so many people that are only buying deeds, and then, you know, obviously your journey has been mostly wholesaling right now as you build up capital.
Right.
What would you say, like, so many people find us on social media now, and obviously, like, I can talk till I'm blue in the face, and but for somebody that's come through the program, like most of a big chunk of people don't get disillusioned about their finances and their trajectory in their life until they're decades ahead of you in terms of age. So what would you say to that person that's sitting in the same spot you were a year ago, and they see like TaxLink Code, or they see an investment opportunity, whatever it is, and like, man, TaxLink Code has done this for me, or because of that first class I came to, like, look at my life.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't ever take that jump, then you're just never going to get off the floor, right? I think that you need some help to propel you into a different lifestyle and, again, a different trajectory, right? So I think for people that are skeptical about it, or people that are just wondering, like, is it going to work? It can work. It can work, but I feel like it's, you know, if you don't do it, you don't put in the work, you don't show up, and yeah, I mean, you're not going to make it. And that's just the, you know, sad truth about it, right? I think, well, you know, we've talked about it. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy thing, but if there's a proven model and there's people that are coming back to help people get to that, you know, that other place, then you got to trust the system. And you got to trust that, you know, they've already done it. It's a proven model. So I would say you got to just jump. You have to jump. I feel like you can't be a good entrepreneur if you don't take those type of risks. But I think at the same time, it's up to you to get yourself back up, right? And to make it work, though. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be something that's just handed to anybody.
Never is, right? Greatness is never handed out equally.
Yeah, I grew up, so my family's all from Los Angeles. And so I grew up a big Laker guy. And I grew up with Kobe. And so, yeah, the Mamba mentality stuff, yeah. that's been since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I always took pride in my work ethic, I would say.
You know, I think one of my favorite Kobe stories, and correct me, because I'm sure I'm going to get this a little bit wrong, talking to a Kobe like diehard, is there was a teammate that was complaining that he wasn't passing the ball. And he goes, I show up at 5 o'clock in the gym every morning, and I'm practicing, and I know my effort, and I know what I eat, and I know what my workouts look like, and I know what I practice like. I see you pulling into the gym 15 minutes before practice starts. I know how you eat. I know what you do. Why would I pass you the ball, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know what my dedication looks like. I know the sacrifices that the journey required of me to be where I am. And I know what it takes. Like that, I think that's what Kobe was saying, is like, I know what it takes to be great. And you don't want to sacrifice? Cool. But I'm not passing you the ball.
Yeah. I'll tell you, like, for me, it took me 9 months to get a deal.
9 months. Okay.
So yeah, when I say 4, it's been 4 in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Right. It took me 9 months to get a deal. And so it was one of, that, hey, Kobe, just show up at 5 a.m.
What were you feeling like for 9 months then? Did you feel like you'd made a mistake?
No, I never did. I never thought I made a mistake. Never. No. Because I had that mentality like, hey, I'm not going to lose completely, right? I'm going to come back and I'm going to win. So I never had a doubt. I never started. But it was obviously one of those things that are discouraging, right? Definitely you go month after month after month. And there was several deals that fell through. And some that got all the way down to the signing table, and it just couldn't make it happen, right? So those suck. They really suck. But yeah, show up every day. Show up at 5 a.m. Do your thing. You'll get the ball passed to you if you show up.
Love it.
So yeah.
Well, I took a bunch of notes. What I'm taking away, Joel, is win every day. Show up every day. And I love that message. I'm going to print you up a shirt that says TLC College Dropout.
Let's do it.
I'll proudly wear one too.
Let's go.
Well, Joel, it's been such a pleasure. Thanks for spending time. It's fun looking in the mirror a little bit and seeing myself and remembering. God, I can't believe it's been 22 years for me that I started my journey. So, look forward to a couple gray hairs, and let me know when your dad's coming. I want to come down and give your dad a hug. Tell him thanks for trusting in his son, because we all need great dads, and I'm blessed to have a great dad, and we all need good dads and becoming a good dad. So let me know when your dad's coming to an event, and I'll see if schedules work out.
Let's do it. I'll let you know.
Okay, Joel. Well, thanks for the time. Appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.